Okay, Bob. Well, welcome to Holland.
Thank you, Arjan.
And we've done this tour now for been about 3 weeks, 3 wild, woolly weeks, and we've done 15 shows. And what are your impressions so far?
Well, we've had some great times. I mean, I'm always amazed at the enthusiasm of the European audiences. I'm also amazed at the technical ability of the different venues that we've worked at. I mean, it's just amazing to me. So, great enthusiasm. Just can't say enough. It was a great tour.
Does it surprise you that Elvis is still so popular?
It well, it's amazing to me that European audiences, and I give them a lot of credit for this, are so interested in detail. They know a lot of the songs that over the years, I've even lost track of, and they're very discerning about the different material that they want to listen to. So I think we've got a great 2 sets that we do, because we do include some of those songs that may have been passed by through the years unintentionally. But so that's amazing, and it's great to play those songs again.
Speaking about you specifically, does it surprise you that your comeback has generated so much excitement amongst fans?
Yes, it is very surprising. What can I say? I mean, last night in the venue we were in, several folks lined up to ask me questions about different tracks that I was on. I was very happy that they were interested in them. At the time, like you put in one of your articles, you're just trying to help the rhythm section, trying to lay down a good groove, trying to make it sound as as professional as possible, and sometimes you don't think that those things are noticed very much, and so it's very refreshing that some audiences pick those things out to listen to, and I really appreciate it very much.
At some of the shows, the reaction was almost like Beatlemania or Elvis mania. People wanting your autograph, big queues.
Yeah.
What do you make of all of that?
What can I say? I think it's amazing. When I was with Elvis, that happened, and it was quite some time ago. So to be reminded of the enthusiasm that people have about the music is just great. Yeah, it is.
Going back to Elvis, how did you start working for Elvis?
Well, in the late 60s, the session activity in Los Angeles was amazing. There was an awful lot of work, and there was work on every level. There was work for, of course, phonograph records, live television, jingles, and movies. And I started to do some of that work. And that was in late 68, 69. And then I worked with Jerry Sheff a couple of times. And
Jerry was Elvis' bass player at the time.
well, Jerry hadn't really started with Elvis yet, and he was doing sessions. And I was lucky enough to get on some of the sessions where he and I worked for different artists and different conductors, different composers. And then we had a friendship, and he called. I'll never forget the phone call. He called one night and he said, Elvis is going to be needing a drummer for the second engagement at the International Hotel. And he said, I'm going to recommend you. And I was, flabbergasted, really. And so that's how the audition occurred. I got a call maybe about a week or two later. And went to ABC Recording Studios.
Was that on Vine Street?
On Vine Street.
Yeah.
was a large recording studio, and everyone was there. I mean, Tom Diskin and Charlie Hodge and of course Jerry and Ron Tutt came by, said hello, and I remember doing 2 or 3 tunes at the most, and I remember Elvis saying in kind of a soft voice, I think we got our drummer. So that was a great moment in my career.
How many drummers auditioned that day?
I don't know the exact number, but I think there was at least 4 or 5 different drummers, great drummers in Los Angeles at the time. I remember one person who knew one of the drummers was very disappointed that he didn't get the job, and I can certainly understand that, but it was a great day in my life.
What do you think made Elvis choose you to be his drummer?
Well, I can't really say, except that I have to say that I was born into a show business family, and we used to talk about auditioning. And I remember, I think it was my father who said, you know, when you audition, don't embroider too much. Don't play too, try to help the rhythm section, try to help the singer, lay down a groove, and that's it. Because that's what you would do anyway. So if you step outside that, you're really doing something that's not normal to the way you would approach the music. And that's what I tried to do. But I really wasn't aware that the audition would, you know, be completed on about the 2nd or 3rd tune. I thought I'd probably be there for an hour or so. And as I recall, Elvis said, I think we got our drummer, and there was time there, and then he said, okay, thanks very much. We all left, and I didn't really hear anything for maybe a couple of weeks. And then I was at a rehearsal for another show, and we'd always left messages as to where we were located in case work came in. And I remember somebody coming up to me and saying, there's a phone call for you. And I remember hearing this voice saying, look, I got a contract I need to get signed. I need to get to your location right now. Can I, you know? I said, sure. And that was the first time that I knew I was going to Vegas with Elvis. Yeah, that was quite something.
Those first real rehearsals for the Vegas engagement, what were they like?
As I recall, we had a very relaxed atmosphere. I mean, we had a set number of tunes that Elvis wanted to cover, and he would make changes. And of course, James Burton, you know, the legendary James Burton would, and the rest of the band would have a say in different things that they wanted to try out on a certain tune or whatever. But it was very relaxed, and we never knew how long we would be there. Sometimes the rehearsals went on for hours. Sometimes we would rehearse for an hour. I remember that was what happened the first night we rehearsed. We rehearsed for about an hour, and Elvis,
that was it.
That's it. Thanks so much. And I remember Jerry Sheff looking back at me and going, that's it. Yeah. You know.
But
so,
maybe it was just a matter of, you know, bonding and getting to know each other.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And did Elvis have any specific requirements from you as a drummer? Did he tell you how to play, or did you get a lot of freedom?
There was a tremendous amount of freedom. Yeah. And I remember saying, Elvis, you know, tell me if there's anything I can. He just left it up to us. He didn't almost feel that it was, you know, his to say how you would approach a certain song that we were rehearsing. But I do remember that when we rehearsed The Wonder of You, I was playing a heavy backbeat, and I didn't know whether that would fit. I didn't know exactly the approach that he wanted to take on the tune, and that was evidently exactly where he wanted to go, because I remember when we went into the last part of that rehearsal, he said, "Don't lose me on the backbeat when we go into the end of the Wonder of You. Don't lose me on that backbeat." And I knew exactly what he meant by that, you know.
One of the highlights from those rehearsals must have been Polk.
Yeah, it was great because he wanted to do a different style. He wanted to make it his own. And it just went in that direction. And the more we played it that style, the style that we've all gotten used to hearing, Polk and Elvis's approach to it, the better it got. He just loved it. And it's a different Polk than any other interpretation.
It stands on its own, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
What can you tell me about some of the other core players in the band at the time?
Well,
You had James Burton,
Yeah.
obviously. John Wilkinson.
great players. You know, James's style is incomparable. And so working with him was an amazing experience. I had worked with James on sessions, and what can I say? I mean, it was amazing. And Jerry's playing, you know, Jerry had unlimited chops. He could really interpret any way he wanted to go with it, the bass line, because of his ability, obviously.
And Glenn D.
Glenn D, great player and great guy, and great arranger. I mean, you know, if The Wonder of You and a couple of the other songs that he did the arrangements on fit so well that at rehearsal, I just thought that's the way, that's it. I mean, you couldn't do them any other way.
And he was a newcomer, just like you.
Yeah. And he, great rhythm player, great rhythm section player, great arranger, great guy to hang out with. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. And of course there was also Charlie Hodge.
Charlie was the greatest. And if there was a musical question of some kind and we were talking about it and kind of hashing it out, you know, Charlie was the decider. Charlie would say, well, I think Elvis would want it this way.
How many songs did you rehearse over those weeks?
I think we pretty much stuck to the format that had been worked out. It had been worked out, gone over. It had been, how would you say, done in a way that got the maximum impact from the audience and had the best continuity for the show. So that was it. I mean, we had a set number of tunes. I think Elvis wanted to try 3 or 4 others, including Delta Lady, which didn't work out. But that was it. We pretty much stuck to the show.
And then, of course, there was opening night in January 1970.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of that first show?
Well, I started Elvis's part of the show. And it was, I remember the stage went black and there was just enough light as they moved the risers out on the stage. And I remember Jerry Sheff saying, "It's all you." And that was it. I started off that tempo in the beginning, and it's a great, great memory.
What were your impressions of Elvis as a performer at the time?
Oh, he was amazing. I mean, he had a tremendous communication with the audience. Of course, a lot of people were there just to see him. I mean, he was so electric. Probably only one of 2 or 3 performers in the history of the business that could just walk on stage. I mean, there he was, this guy who, for 10, 15 years, people wanted to see. They were excited about. They had seen him in movies, and plus the International was a great way to see Elvis. There were a lot of people in the front rows of the stage that would buy seats for the entire engagement. Amazing.
What was the sound like at the shows when you compare it to today?
Well, you know, the technical advantages of what we do now can't be really compared. I mean, but Felton Jarvis did the very best he could to give us monitors that, you know, did the job, and I'm amazed at how the recordings came out, because it wasn't easy in those days.
Were you able to hear the other musicians?
I was not as well as I can right now on our stage here, but I was, and
what kind of drums did you use at the time?
I had a set of Ludwig drums that I loved. I used them on sessions, yeah, the basic set I felt more comfortable, just like this set is here. Yeah.
Are there any moments that stand out to you from those Las Vegas shows?
Well, opening night was a great night. And I have to say, I never had a problem with opening nights. I had done a lot of opening nights for different artists. And we were ready. We were really ready.